Record. Perfect. All right. Hello, everyone. And on behalf of the SOPA team, allow me to extend a very welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining us today. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our colleague Kim from Invest Ottawa, as well as Anjan and Brianna, who will be in the chat. And for taking the time to lead this webinar today. Thank you very much. And just to give you a brief background before I turn it over to Kim, Anjan, and Brianna are part of an amazing team who connects tech and business candidates with employers across the Ottawa region. And just a reminder again about some housekeeping notes. Please remember to stay muted during the presentation and feel free to post your questions in the chat or wait till the end and then you could turn on your camera and ask them via audio. Right. Perfect. And so without further ado, let's get to the fun part. The floor is yours, Kim. Take it away.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to present. Just gonna see if we have the presentation ready. Let's see, here you go. Can everyone see my slides right now? Are we good to go? Awesome. Well, great and wonderful to see so many of you here today and learn more about the city of Ottawa and just see how it can be such a great destination for you when you are ready to arrive to Canada, or some of you are already in other areas of Canada at the moment, just to explain a bit like what you can expect from Canada's capital actually. So just a brief introduction of Invest Ottawa. I know Mar already explained it a little bit, but Invest Ottawa is an economic development agency for the city of Ottawa. So that means that we provide support for all of the different businesses here in the city, as well as talent, and help them with connecting and growing and developing their career here. So my name is Kim, and I'm a talent attraction strategist together with my team members, Brianna and Anjan, that are currently in the chat here as well. We really help and are part of the talent program at Invest Ottawa to connect talent to the employers that are currently hiring. So why Ottawa? So I just wanted to see as well if any one of you has ever been to Ottawa before. If you have, put it in the chat. I would love to hear and see if you have the chance to visit our city yet already. If you haven't, I'm going to tell you a bit more of what you can expect from kind of different activities and things to see here in the city. Because a fun fact, a lot of times people think actually the city of Toronto is the capital of Canada, but it's actually not. It's actually Ottawa. We're a fully bilingual major city here actually in Canada, but there's no need to speak French. So if you do speak French, great, you're going to be just fine. But you don't have to actually. So personally myself, I've lived here in Canada and in Ottawa for almost 2 years now. My French, I can still improve it, but you hear it every single day all around. So it's a great Canadian city, fully bilingual. So we just want to discuss a bit about Ottawa and things you can expect here. We're actually, as a city, very stable because it's a government city. So that means that all of the different companies are very much backed by government and innovation of tech hubs that are currently happening here. And we're actually known for having a very low unemployment rate here in the city. So if you're a little bit scared or unsure where to go, Ottawa is a very safe bet. So let me see. So here we have a few fun quick facts about the city of Ottawa. And one that surprises most people, and I personally was very surprised about that too, is that we have the highest concentration of tech talent here in North America. So if you know Silicon Valley has a lot of tech talent, but the concentration, so like the proportion of how many people work in tech versus any other sector, is actually higher here than in Silicon Valley. Just for those of you that are currently not working in tech, don't worry, this is not going to be a presentation that's not going to be relevant for you. Any profession you can bring to tech-based companies. So Invest Ottawa does support tech-based companies, but if you have a marketing background or a project management background or even an education background, you can still contribute to all of the companies here in the city of Ottawa, as well as tech-based companies too. So some other facts that are here is that we actually have more people living in a radius of 400 kilometers within the city of Ottawa than a city like Toronto or Montreal. And we are actually recognized as having the lowest cost of living of any city in Canada as well, which is really great and makes it one of the best places to live in Canada too. For a few or a bit more information about the city, so we're about 1.5 million people that are living inside the city border, so like the National Capital Region. And of those, there's like about 800,000 that are actually currently working in the workforce. And a tenth of that, or actually 13%, or 11.3% is currently working in the tech sector. So personally, like, what can you do? So Ottawa is a great place to work, and we want to, of course, stress employment. I know World Skills really supports you and coaches you with all of the different things to get your employment here as well. And we're going to address that too later on. But just to start off, because life is more than work, you know, like you also want to know what kind of place you're going to be in, what you can find in this city as well, and really ensure that you like it. And to tell a little bit of a personal story, so I'm not Canadian myself. I actually moved here to Canada about 2 years ago from Europe, and actually picked Ottawa as my destination to be in, mainly because of the outer cities. It feels like a small city in a huge environment. So you have all of the facilities, all of the amenities of a major city, but still you actually get to know your neighbors. You actually get to walk around, you get to bike around. It's honestly one of the most or the best reasons why I love the city and I like it so much here. So if you have any questions about the city as well, happy to hear that too. And great, Andrea, you've also love the city. It's indeed, it's a great place to be. But yeah, you don't just have to take my word for it. Just want to show you a little bit of what you can expect in the city here as well. So we are actually one of Canada's fastest growing communities, according to StatsCan. As was mentioned before, it's one of the most affordable cities here in Canada to live. And it has a lot of vibrant and diverse communities. So you can, here I have a slide on this, like with a lot of pictures. So you can be who you are in this city. We honor Indigenous people. We honor all of the different other diverse communities. It's very inclusive community that we have, such as like for the Franco-Ontarian community. So Indigenous, you can be queer as well. We're very welcoming. It's actually Pride Week right now in Ottawa. So a great moment to be there. And if you are currently in Ottawa, definitely make sure you check out all of the events that are happening this week, including the parade on Sunday. And also, you know, like supporting what happens right now in Ukraine. Like, it's such an important moment to really value every single being, every background, doesn't matter. Want to make sure that we have one very strong community and be welcoming and celebrating of every single one. In addition to that, we actually have quite a few cultural things as well. So think of several national museums. There's actually 14 of them. So we have a museum of history, of nature, several art museums, also art galleries as well, and a ton of activities. So every weekend there will be a festival or a fair or a different event that you can attend. All through summer, there's fireworks happening, which is always really amazing. Live music is happening and so much more. So you're never going to be bored in the city, that's for sure. But it's more than just these kind of cultural activities. It's also very famous for its outdoor activities. So we have Gatineau Park very close by, which is one of our national parks. There's a lot of nature as well that is happening here that you can visit. It's very respected. So everything, like if you love going outside to nature, going for a hike or anything like that, there's always something to do. And here are a few examples actually. So one of the things is we have the Rideau Canal. So that is actually the world's largest outdoor skating rink that's happening or that's open in the winter. And a fun fact is you can see people in winter skate to work or skate to school or skate to do groceries, anything like that. You can actually see them using that as a way to get from one place to another. I don't think you see that anywhere else in the world. That's really something very unique to Ottawa. For 1,000 parks. So if you love going for a hike, going for walks, going for a run in nature, or even just going for a picnic or playing some games in the park with friends or family, there's enough greenery for you that's here. There's also a ton of biking trails. So I am from the Netherlands. Netherlands is a country known for its biking, and Ottawa is luckily one that facilitates that as well. So definitely you can bike to work if you want to. You are not constrained to just owning a car. But you can use cycling, of course, as well as like a way of working out too, which is really fantastic as well. And then in winter, when the winter time comes, there's a ton of trails for cross-country skiing as well. So you don't have to be restrained and constricted to being indoors. There's still a ton of things to do. And I feel like I can talk about this slide for hours. I won't, but definitely, yeah, a great way of staying active in the city for sure. But if you want to see for long term, like I don't know what stages of your life you're in, but if you have children, for example, or maybe brothers and sisters that you want to move with that are currently going to school, or if you want to continue your education yourself, we do have several outstanding post-secondary institutions here. Every single one of them has a different expertise. So we even have fully French universities. We have fully English, bilingual colleges as well. Really tech-based, non-tech-based, arts focused, all of that. You have them all across the city here as well. So here is a list of different universities and colleges here in the city too. Then for cost of living. So everyone, of course, wants to know how expensive is it? So of course, all across the country, housing has become more expensive, but we do see that in Ottawa, it's still significantly cheaper than other major cities. So the average cost to buy a home is about 674,000 Canadian dollars. Condos a little bit less, and rent definitely doable at 1,600 as well. So these are the latest numbers. They fluctuate constantly, but definitely it is much more affordable than in Toronto or Montreal, where you can pay sometimes double of these prices. Then I hope you have a good feel of what it's like to live in Ottawa right now. Happy to answer any questions that you might have at the end. Feel free to put them in the chat, by the way. Like we're doing a Q&A at the end. So if there's anything you're not sure about or just want to know if that's possible in the city, put it in the chat and we're happy to answer them. But now I want to address a little bit about the industries. So as I mentioned in the start, yes, we're going to talk more about tech industries. If you're not a tech professional, that's okay. This is still going to be relevant for you. A lot of people that don't have a tech background do start a career in tech here in the city because you can bring your expertise from anywhere into that industry as well. So the primary tech industry that we have here in Ottawa is focused on telecommunications. So that's one of them that's really like we're established, internationally recognized center of excellence actually in telecoms. But a history that is actually happening from quite some time ago, and we are staying strong. Software, artificial intelligence, data analytics, super powering, spanning all across the city as well. And then cybersecurity is a huge part too, and autonomous, oh my goodness, struggling with that word. But those self-driving vehicles are very important too. So we actually have a great facility that I'm going to discuss a bit more that is fully focused on CAF2. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely the place to be. You can find that here. So I don't know, maybe some of you have heard of Canada North. So Canada is actually a suburb in Ottawa, and it's one of Canada's largest tech park. So you can find over 500 companies and 21,000 skilled employees, all in tech in that region. So it's on the west side of the city of Ottawa. And you can find companies ranging in all different sizes. And it's actually the birthplace of several game-changing companies such as Mattel or U.ITV, and SOPA Software is one of them as well. So if you want to be close to tech and you really love being close to it, not having to commute far for your work, Canada is definitely an area that you can find a home to. So as I said, it's on the west end of the city, and you can find like several like outlet centers as well as factory outlet stores and tech businesses and all of these different things to really find a home. One other thing is 5G. So 5G is something that is used for CAF. So here I have a few brand names, so like these logos. So like if you're looking to find work in 5G, definitely have a look at the Nokias that are hiring, Infinera, Ericsson, Sienna, Solis. All of those are hiring and are doing incredible work in this disruptive technology. Then for software. So for software, we have over 560 companies here that are working in the city. And as you can see, it's like 22,000 employees that are working in that sector. So you can find a ton of companies. Shopify is probably one of our largest ones. You might have heard of them. But BlackBerry is huge too, and Kinaxis and TripAdvisor and many, many more. I mean, we have 560 companies. We just picked 4 logos that you might recognize from outside of Canada, but definitely, yeah, we're a world-class hub of software capability and innovative trailblazers here in the city. Then we're also the national hub for defense and security. So we have over 100 companies that are working in defense and security. 10,000 employees approximately, and companies that you can look for if you're looking to work in cybersecurity, for example. Companies that are always hiring are Thales or Crypto or General Dynamics, Fortime as well. All of these different opportunities too. Even some companies like from the previous slides, like Nokia, you can find as well, or CGI, all of these different companies. So if you are looking for any of these, you don't have to write all of these logos down too. This session is being recorded, so you can have a look at that too. And at the end, we do have our contact details there as well. So you can always reach out to us if you have any questions or want to know about more companies that are hiring for your expertise. Then another one is life sciences. So that's something that has really emerged as a sector here into the global market, as more of like the center of discovery, development, and commercialization. So we're very strong in the R&D and life sciences here. So an Abbott, you might have heard of them, or Siemens, or Thermo Fisher, Boston Scientific, all of these different companies to really help with that innovation in health tech that's happening right now. And then smart mobility. So I mentioned that quickly on like this slide with 5G. One thing that's really, really cool in Ottawa is we have Area Excel out. And that's actually a facility that is completely focused and built for R&D in the mobility sector. So companies such as BlackBerry are there, or Nokia and Ericsson, they all have their different little R&D hub there. And it's actually, Ottawa is one of the first municipality in Canada to connect an autonomous vehicle to live city street infrastructure. So Area XO is almost like a city in itself. So it has streets, it has street lights, it has like a pedestrian here that you can see. Of course, it's a doll, but that way you can really test the self-driving cars without having to deal with anyone else or any danger. It's in a very safe and protected environment. And because Ottawa has these 4 seasons of like a great winter and summer, fall and spring, this is such a great location for them to be at. So all of this was a ton of information about the city of Ottawa as a place to live, to study, to play and have fun, but also to work. We would love to support you further. So you can, of course, reach out to World Skills. They're going to definitely be able to coach you and connect you as well. But what you can also do is join our talent pool. So as Invest Ottawa, we have a talent pool, and we use that in order to distribute opportunities that are currently in the city that are open, that are hiring. So we can always make sure that you are connected with us and employers through us. You can also apply to available positions. So we have several positions open. You can use that to apply as well. And then, of course, once you have employment secured, or even before that, you can make your move to Ottawa. So the QR code here that's on the slide is actually redirecting you to our job board where you can join our talent pool. And I believe my colleague is sharing the links as well in the slides or in the chat right now. So you can use that to access. And make sure that you visit our website as well for more information, or follow us on LinkedIn. And you can always reach out to us as well through the talent team at investottawa.ca, because we're happy to answer any questions that you might have, or just share and connect with you. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to see you succeed in this city that has so many opportunities available. So definitely reach out, and we'd love to connect. But yeah, maybe we can hop over for a Q&A, see if there were any questions or comments, thoughts that we can discuss as well.
Yes, totally. I will go ahead and share my screen briefly. We do have a few questions, but I would like to thank you, Tim, for this amazing presentation. Right, one second. And share. And Kim, if you could confirm that you could see the screen, that would be great.
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect. So I'll go ahead and start with the first question. So do you know what the top skills required by employers are, the technical and soft skills?
Oh, that's a good question. A very broad question. So it definitely depends on what kind of role you're looking for. So one thing you can do as well is have a look at our job board. We have several positions open from clients. So you can definitely see some of those tough skills that are being requested. We see a lot of demand in several sectors. So data analyst, definitely one of them, in software development. So think of any full stack developers, front end, back end developers, definitely see those two. Project and program managers, product, marketing. I mean, it's a ton of different skills. True. So it's a very broad question to really pick out a few. But
true. And we do have an example. So for instance, for a data analyst, like entry-level role.
Which skills would you be looking for? So I know a lot of the hard skills would, for example, be in programming languages. So data, definitely learn your Python, then your R maybe a little bit as well, although it's getting a bit more outdated to use R. But yeah, Python is, I think, one of the biggest ones in data analytics that we see happening constantly. For soft skills, I like to use them power skills, or you call them people skills or anything like that, because they're not always that soft. Sure. I think one of the biggest things for those, especially in a tech position, is having that communication skill where you can explain what you're doing to a non-tech person. Because as I mentioned before, like we have a ton of people in tech, and also people that don't come from a tech background. So as a data analyst, definitely learn how to explain your data in a way that someone that doesn't know how a dashboard works or how it's being created can still understand it.
Okay, awesome, perfect, thank you. And the next question, so in general, what would be the minimum of years of experience required for entry-level positions?
Yeah, so I mean, minimum years of experience for entry level. Entry level should always be 0 years, right? It should always be right after you graduate, you should be able to join entry level positions. Definitely what I do like in this question as well is the mentioning of projects. For anyone that's starting their career, have a portfolio available. So like have a GitHub or have an interactive website or anything like that that you can showcase. Definitely a good way to show that your knowledge isn't just theoretical, like you can apply it as well.
All right. And also if somebody has like only projects during their training or school, would that also be considered as experience or internships, let's say, short term?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've just facilitated a boot camp for several people that are new to tech. So those people did for 3 months, they did a boot camp to learn to become a data scientist or a web developer or cybersecurity specialist. And quite a few of them have found employment just based on that experience alone. So definitely, I mean, it's always challenging to start as a newcomer or to start as a new grad, but it's not impossible. And projects are a great way to showcase your skills.
Totally. Thank you so much for sharing. And could you please briefly describe a typical recruitment process by employers?
Yeah, I think typically what we see is the first call is usually an intro call with either the hiring manager or maybe the engineering manager or maybe just a talent acquisition specialist as well, just to see if there's a connection and a match between you and the company. Then there's usually like more of a technical or in-depth round, depending on what position you're applying for. And then a last call with either a wider group of people or maybe someone higher up to discuss like salary and all of that as well.
Awesome. Right. And okay, so this question is really interesting, and I'm also very curious to hear the answer. It's about the applicant tracking system software that is used in the pre-screening phase. And do you know whether all employees use applicant tracking system software in hiring?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
So not everyone uses that actually. I think it is depending on the size of their team, of their company itself. So like we work with a lot of like startup and scale-up companies, and most of those don't actually have an applicant tracking system in place. But most of the larger companies do. Yeah, I think most of them do have one in place, just because you don't want to get lost and lose out on all of your applicants. You want to make sure that no one falls through the cracks. So they definitely have a software in place for those.
Awesome, thank you. And what are some best practices or tips that you could share with newcomers who are applying for their first job in Canada?
Yeah. What are some best practices? So definitely connect with people on LinkedIn, see who's out there, who's working in the sector or company that you're looking for to find. Also reach out to World Skills and ourselves. We're happy to make the connection for you and support you with that too. And look into what a Canadian template for resume looks like. So depending on where you're from, I know some countries always add like a picture or anything like that. That is more personal information. In Canada, that's not what we do because we really want to be inclusive and not already unconsciously based on a picture select someone or reject someone. You don't want that to happen, so definitely don't put pictures on your resume here.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, just to mention, so definitely Work Skills and Invest Ottawa could be helpful, and also for SOPA. So we're the pre-arrival team, and we help you until you land, and that's when we refer you to Kim and Work Skills and other organizations that would be very happy to help you. Thank you very much for sharing that. Oh, okay, yeah. The next question is also a very important one. And is it very challenging for newcomers who do not have prior Canadian experience to secure their first employment here in Canada?
Yeah, so we do see that happening where people do find it sometimes challenging. I know World Skills is really supporting with coaching people to make sure that you don't have to feel scared about that, or like how to position yourself to still get that first job. Um, I think it's really depending on what you're looking for. You don't definitely have to settle down for a position. Like, don't, if you have 5 years of experience back home, don't apply for entry level positions. You don't have to do that. You will find that position that matches your qualifications. In the end, it's challenging for anyone to find a job when you're new to a certain area or new to a certain sector. So it comes a little bit back to those best practices. Definitely reach out to World Skills and to us as well at Invest Ottawa. We're really there for you to support you. So don't hesitate to reach out, and we can help you out.
Perfect. All right, thank you. I just looked at a new question in the chat. How's the weather? How's
The
the weather in
weather
Ottawa? Let's address that one.
today it's amazing. Today it's great. I think the weather is one of the biggest things. It was one of the biggest things for me too when I moved here. It's like, oh no, I'm so scared of the winters. The winters are cold, but you can dress for it so well. Like, I've been colder in Europe at -5 degrees than here in -20. Like, because the weather just feels so different. So definitely, yes, you might have to get used to it. But as long as you buy your good winter boots and your good coat and hat, you're gonna be more than fine. And summers are just, they're summers. They're amazing. They're sunny. They're warm. They're nice.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for sharing those things. And all right, going back to the employment question. So, are there regular job fairs in Ottawa, online or in person? And is there a job fair we can attend to meet the employers?
Yeah, there's definitely regular job fairs that are happening. Mixing right now. So for the last few years, definitely more online than in person. We see now more hybrid events happening. And we actually host a few job fairs ourselves as well, or other events in order to connect with employers. And I know World Skills does the same. So definitely, yes, a lot of regular things. For us, if you sign up to our job board or to one of our pools, you will also know when these kind of events are happening.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much. And yeah, also the next question is very interesting. So I heard that cover letters are no longer very important when applying to jobs in Canada. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, so here, let's say it's my opinion and not Invest Ottawa's opinion, because I don't know exactly how much it's true. Personally, I've always disliked cover letters. I don't like them. What I think is the most important part for cover letters is to add on to what's in your resume. So if you have a background in I don't know, X, and you're applying for something in Y, you have to explain how that still connects. So in that case, yes, use a cover letter or write a short intro at the top of your resume to make sure that they understand why you're applying, so that they don't just say like, oh, this is not someone that matches with what we're looking for. Explain that. But if you don't have to explain it, just a resume is good enough, really.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing those insights. And all right, so the next question. What sector is more open to newcomers? And what about entry-level role? People thinking to change their career to IT, but have over 5 years of experience in a different industry, let's say.
That is a very good question. I don't think there's one sector that's more open than another. Like they're all open. I think maybe the one that you might have the most difficulty with is more like the security side, so like defense. You usually have to have been in Canada for a while in order to get the security clearance that's necessary. Same for some government positions, but other than that, anything it's really open. Yeah.
Right. Perfect. And what would be some in-demand positions? And perhaps you could use the jobs currently on the job board to highlight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everyone is looking. What we see here, yeah, you have the job board here available. So you can see in development is really most of ours. And then the talent pool, so like some positions that we have always available is like for account executives or account managers for sales positions, a lot of game developers as well. In telecoms, there's a ton of positions always available. So yeah, so I mean, in the end, no matter what you come from, where you're looking for, there's always going to be something available as well. But if you're looking to redirect your career, please reach out. Let us know where you're coming from, what you're looking for, and we can see if we can connect you with the right organization to facilitate that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And actually, the next question touches on something they just mentioned, the statement security clearance. And is having a security clearance very important, and how a newcomer can get it?
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, in defense and security, that could be definitely important. And that is just by not having a criminal record for the few years that you've been here. Most other sectors, you can have one like the moment you move here. Like they're just gonna ask for more like a code of good conduct. So like making sure that in the short time you've been here, you haven't done anything criminal. So how you can get it, I think you just apply to like the police stations form or something like that. I have done it in the past, but I don't really remember exactly how it was. But it's very easy to do. It's definitely not something you have to be scared of.
Right. Thank you so much.
Mark, can I just add, sorry, this is Amjan here on the security clearance part. So it depends on the role that you're trying to pursue. For some roles, it's important, but the company sometimes sponsors a security clearance. There's also 3 different types of security clearance. Some roles require a basic security clearance, some requires the advanced one. Again, depending on the kind of project or the firm you want to work for, a company may sponsor, some companies may want you to have security clearance in advance. So it really depends on the role and the organization, and also it really depends on the country of origin. So it's a mix of multiple factors, but a lot of people do go ahead and get it because they work on a lot of federal and provincially funded projects.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Anjan, for sharing those insights. Awesome. Okay. All right. So do you know whether the employers that you work with are open to interviewing newcomers before they land in Canada?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of positions are currently actually remote, so you could even start before you do your landing. And a lot of talent that we connect with employers are currently outside of Canada. So they start the interviewing process before they land, and they're very open to know and to interview you already before you get here. I think one of the biggest things is to have some sort of timeline in mind that you can tell your employer, so that they know when to expect you if they do hire you.
Thank you so much. And please, do you have any tips for newcomers to avoid employment scams?
Oh, yeah, I know they happen. If it's too good to be true, don't believe it. That's, I think, the guideline you have to be with. Definitely also, like, WorldSkills and Invest Ottawa know about a lot of companies. If you want to check, Google, reach out to us to see like, hey, this is what I got. if you've never met someone on a call, everything went through chat, definitely be hesitant and make sure you do your due diligence to make sure that that's not a scam. And one thing, of course, is never pay an employer before you start somewhere. Like, that's not a thing. Don't pay an employer to start somewhere.
I totally agree. And I just would like to add to that also, because I had a couple of clients who unfortunately had to deal with these employment scams. And yeah, if it's too good, to be true, for instance, a client of mine had found this remote admin role with a US based company, and it was like $32 per hour. That doesn't make sense at all. And when she shared the emails, it was full of typos. You could tell that it was not professional. And on the call, there are a few tools that you could use to authenticate and verify whether the company exists. Like for that company, they picked the name of a very popular mining company. They changed just one letter, so it sounds like counterfeit. So when you go to the BBB, the Better Business Bureau, bbb.org, we put the name of the company. It wasn't. They said nope, this doesn't exist, and we put the name of the real mining company, and it was there. And we even went to who.is to check the domain name, and the domain name was created just 6 months ago when they mentioned on their website that it was 20 years ago. So there are tools that you could use to verify. But again, just like Kim mentioned, if it's too good to be true, it's so sad because they target newcomers sometimes and international students who are vulnerable, who really want to get their head start in the job market. So yes, definitely please be mindful of employment scams, and you, like Kim mentioned, reach out to your employment specialist and the organization that you work with to sort of get some consultation on that if you have any doubt. Thank you so much, Kim, for sharing those insights. And are there many remote roles with employers that you work with?
Yeah, I would say about 80-90% of the employers we work with are hiring remote. The others are, a few are on site, and most of them then are hybrid. So yeah, definitely a lot of remote opportunities available.
All right. And actually, just a comment that my coworker added. So yes, we had to deal with an employment scam. So something that helped is also to reach out to actual hiring managers and recruiters. Yes, of the company via LinkedIn. Sometimes they can pick real companies to confirm the position and the job offer. So yes, so they confirmed that it was a scam. That's really that's a very, very good insight as well. Thank you. All right, and the next question. So I would like to know the prospects for finance professionals in Ottawa, especially for those who do not have a CPA designation.
Good question. Personally, I don't know the exact answer because I have never really connected with finance professionals that don't have their certification. If you have the chance, look into getting certified, because that is something that is being asked a lot. But again, like for all of the positions in the end, like there's always roles available. It's just a matter of finding them. So really explain to you like, oh yeah, this is what your chances are. It's a little bit tougher for me to do.
Yeah, if I can add there's certain roles, there where non-CPA can also work. Some of the accounting roles, I think things like account payable, account receivable specialist, staff accountant, senior accountants, I don't think those need a CPA. However, if you want to run a professional, audit or a consulting service, then you'll need a CPA. It really depends under the finance, spectrum. There's certain roles that need, certain roles that don't. There's a lot of information you'll find on the internet for this. So I think internet is a good resource for you to explore that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Anjan, for sharing. And the next question, are there plans to have another boot camp? And I think I noticed that Brianna answered it in the chat, and she mentioned how we post job fairs quite frequently. If you provide the resume on the job board, you will be added to the mailing list for events and boot camps. But there was another follow-up question to this, and are there any fees attached? And I'm wondering if you could shed some light on that.
Yeah, so the bootcamps we've done so far were all fully free of charge. So they were completely funded by the government, so that you didn't have to pay any fees. So that's most likely going to happen in future bootcamps as well, but something that you will see when you do indeed, like what Brianna said, sign up for our newsletters, join our talent pools. you will get that information when it becomes available.
Awesome. And are there any eligibility criteria?
Yeah, so that would be the same. The information would be available when the applicant comes up. Normally, you have to be inside the province or inside a city or something like that in order to be eligible.
All right. Thank you so much. The next question, my client would like to know if there are any prospects for jobs in agriculture.
Yeah, so we actually work together with a few companies that are doing like smart tech in agriculture. So those are companies that are looking at a new way of farming, for example. Like we have a company called Grouser that is here in the city, which is doing fantastic work and having that like vertical farming or like different smart ways of doing it. So definitely a lot of different prospects here in the city for that as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And I also noticed that Brianna answered that question in the chat as well. And yeah, so we have a very interactive team with us today. A lot of questions from clients and colleagues. It's amazing. All right. So the next question, for someone switching careers, can the person get a job for the new career as entry level without experience in that new field? And let's say even if somebody is taking some courses or online.
Yeah, sorry,
I
keep interrupting here. Sorry once again. So,
no, please go ahead.
This is something I answered on the chat as well. I think if you're looking for reskilling and pursuing something new, and you're not a recent college grad, picking up a new skill or a tool is extremely important, and having the certification that goes along with that obviously helps with the credential. What I also recommend is to look for internships, part-time opportunities, and co-op opportunities to get some experience before you can start pursuing full-time opportunities. Because when an employer is looking for a particular CV, they're looking for either experience or relevant skills, and relevant skills which are accredited with the relevant certifications certainly add weight and value, and nothing beats networking. Network, find the people who can help with the relevant opportunities. And the reality is it's not hard, but then it's not easy, but then it's not hard as well. So you just need to ensure that you're persisting on it, and it's a matter of time that you'll eventually find something.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Anjan, for sharing that one. And I would like to circle back to the specific answer and ask if you know whether there are any like programs or internships for newcomers specifically, or how can they get newcomers secure internships with companies?
Yeah, I know there's a lot of services available. My mind is currently blank to see like what the organizations were. I think WorldSkills had a program like that similar in the past. What you can look for is there's a website from the government for pre-arrival services. So you can definitely look at that. There's several organizations that help you find employment, and a few of those are providing internships. Other than that, look at the careers pages of companies you're interested in, reach out to hiring managers, apply for the internships that they have available as well.
All right, thank you very much.
One follow-up question, Kim, sorry. As far as I know, the internships are mostly for student graduates. What about specifically for newcomers? Besides the federal internship program, there is anything that private sector is offering?
Oh, that's a good question. I would have to look into that. Let's circle back on that.
Yeah, sorry, if I may interrupt, that's actually what I would like to ask, because I am an employment counselor here in Toronto, but like right now I'm serving clients in Ottawa, Kingston, Peterborough, and Cornwall. Here in Toronto, I don't know if you've heard of Career Edge. Career Edge is a private organization, like they're offering internship support. Like they have different streams, like if you're a newcomer to Canada, internationally experienced professionals, like fresh graduates. So I don't know if there is something like that in Ottawa, because like right now we just finished we're still running the program. We've provided the reskilling upskilling program in cybersecurity for women. So I work for YWCA Canada. So I am actually struggling connecting them with like employers. Here in Toronto, we have Career Edge, like helping, newcomers or like, trainees after the program. I hope there is also something like that in Ottawa.
Yeah, maybe Mary, for in that case, can you connect with us offline and we can see if we can find some solutions for the city of Ottawa and the talent here to connect with them.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mary, for sharing these insights. And just a reminder for clients, if you would like to ask questions via audio, please raise your hand, but keep it raised, because sometimes I may assume that it was by mistake, because I do that until I keep hearing my name and then say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It was just by mistake. So yeah, just raise your hand and keep it there, and we'll definitely get to you. Right, so the next question, what process should I follow if I'm interested in getting connected with smart cities companies? And I think this was a follow-up question to the agriculture question.
Okay. Because like we have like the the agriculture question, so that was like a big company like Rouser. Definitely just like look at their career page, reach out to people that work there on LinkedIn, or anything like that. But like for smart cities, so if you're talking more about like CAF, you have like companies such as like a Nokia or a BlackBerry or Ericsson that all operate in there. So in the end, process all the same. Depends on how you want to get connected, if it's more of a business opportunity or if you're looking for a job there. But it's always a recommendation to reach out, see what opportunities and positions they have available, and connect that way.
All right, thank you very much. And the next question, are merger and acquisitions active in Ottawa, and let's say logistics buyers?
Yeah, Mark, and I can take that question as well.
Please.
And help came out here. So of course, they are active in Ottawa because Ottawa has a ton of startups here. But again, if you're talking of M&A from a private equity point of view, I think it's a slightly different ballgame. But if you're talking mostly from a venture point of view, certainly it is active, and we have a venture development team that actively works with startups across various maturities and various sizes, and we have a full program in Invest Ottawa to help people just with ideas, people who have achieved some scale and growth. So they will be a right team to answer this. Is it active? Yes, but I think it's a very broad question. So it really depends on the nature of companies, what sectors you're looking at. So the venture team will be more relevant to answer any specific questions that they may have on this topic.
All right, thank you very much, Anjan, for these insights. And I saw that a client, Andres, you raised your hand. Do you still have a question? And I think you were the client who shared your experience with the employment scam. So thank you very much for sharing your experience with us.
Oh, yes, thank you. It was following up to question 19 regarding the process to getting connected with smart cities companies. Thanks so much for the answer. I was referring to being part of the Invest Ottawa talent pool. And so what would be the process if I am interested in being part of that talent pool to be connected with the smart cities opportunities?
Yeah, so you can connect, just join whichever pool is most relevant for you, or submit your general application if none of the pools really seem to be a perfect match. You can always join that way, and that way we can connect you and send the opportunities over. Like we send opportunities over once a month, and you have a newsletter once a month too. So that way you can always see opportunities in the smart cities that are coming by.
Okay, thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andres. And Kim, I'm just being mindful, and Angel as well, and Brianna, I'm just being mindful of your time. We do have about 4 questions left, and I see we're already at noon. So I'm wondering if you have a couple of minutes to address those questions, or you have a time commitment right after noon.
Yeah, we can address those questions, and if more questions come up, we can always like our contact details, I can add that again to the chat as well, so people can email us directly too if they have any questions.
That would be amazing. Thank you very much. All right, next question. How open are employers to recruiting employees to work remotely, especially for newcomers in provinces other than Ontario, who were required to spend a minimum 2 years before leaving their province? I see probably they're referring to the PNP program.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like a provincial nominee program requirement. Yeah, definitely. Like they're open. Like if you have a remote role that they're looking for, most of them don't really care where you are currently, as long as you can work in their time zone. So it might mean you have to wake up a little bit earlier if you're currently in BC and you're looking for a company here in Ottawa. But that's something you can always discuss during the recruitment process. So you can always discuss at that point, what would it mean? What does it entail to move from or to work from a different location? Something very, very personal based per company, of course, but generally speaking, they're very open.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I also definitely noticed sometimes in the job posting, the employer would mention the time zone, like this role stays like let's say Pacific time or Eastern time. So it's very important to pay attention to that as well. Thank you for sharing those insights. And the next question, how important are certifications for somebody with over 7 years of experience in the IT field?
Yeah, for that one, definitely also again depends on where your career takes you, what kind of position you're looking for. Like sometimes they ask you to be certified in a certain program or skill or anything like that, but it's not always necessary. So for that, I would give you the recommendation, look at those positions you want to apply for. If most of those positions ask for being certified in a certain thing, definitely make sure you go for that certification and help improve your chances. But some of these certifications are even facilitated by employers themselves too. Like once you're in a role, they say like, hey, we would love to have you certified in this position so you can either work for more clients or you can work on different projects or just generally grow your position. So I think that is the best way I can answer this question at the moment.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. And the next question is about word skills. Can word skills help figure out alternative career options for academicians looking to change career? The answer is yes. SOPA can help you before arrival and after you land. We will refer you to the post-arrival word skills team. Thank you. All right. The next question, is it challenging to land a teaching position in Ottawa's colleges, universities with the foreign teaching experience?
Yeah, so for teaching, there's a lot of different opportunities. There's a lot of colleges, universities, schools, even some that offer classes per certain region, for example. You do have to become certified and get your credentials here in Ontario. I think it depends based on what region you're going to be in. So your teaching experience is going to count, but you have to make sure that you will have that accreditation in order to be able to work here as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, I also want to add something there, Mar, that if you want to teach in a private institution, it's probably less of a requirement. If you're an academician in, let's say, in one of the sciences like computer science or something, it's probably easier if you want to teach for a private organization. But if you're working for public colleges, universities, foreign teaching experience along with the equivalent credentials and qualification may still be required. It really depends on what level of teaching, what subject and expertise. It's a very broad question. But in general, across both public and private institutions, there's a lot of teaching opportunities across Canada and Ottawa.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Kim and Anjan, for shedding light on that. And yeah, so the next question is foreign credential evaluation, experience verification really required?
Yeah, I can take that one again. I just responded to that on the chat. If it's generally a tech-related skill, then it may not be needed, but there's certain regulated and unregulated jobs. I've posted the link from the Government of Canada website there, which specifically mentions what kind of jobs need foreign credential evaluation, and that should have more information on that there. But typically, Invest Ottawa works with tech-enabled organizations. If you're like a software programmer, it really doesn't matter. However, if you're in the construction business as an architect, then it may be needed. So it really depends on the skill and the role you're looking for.
I can continue with the answer. Usually, the regulated professions will require credential evaluation. And whoever wants to work for government, that will be also a must to have. Oh, and also if you want to continue your education, yeah, credentials will be important.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, and I see the last question we have here on our list. For someone who's unsure what career to switch to, are there any personal one-on-one coaching sessions to help guide them to choose the right career? How can access that opportunity?
It's a great
Yeah,
question. There's a ton of partners and organizations that do support in the city. I think WorldSkills, maybe Mar, you want to address this question?
Yeah, I was about to jump in.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely with the you do have one-on-one coaching sessions with employment counselors, and you would talk about that. We do talk to different clients who are either changing careers or continuing the same path, or some clients who haven't been in the workforce for a few years and then coming back to the workforce. So yeah, so definitely we do adapt our sessions based on each specific needs. And for instance, there are like career quizzes that would help you think of potential occupations that align with your occupational interests, values, and fields. And yeah, all that, just reach out to your counselor before pre-arrival. That would be SOPA, and of course, even after you will have access to one-on-one coaching with post-arrival organizations. Thank you very much for this question. I'm wondering, Andrew, if you want to add anything, or we can go ahead and continue to the next question.
For the working in government, I was also answering to that question.
It's fine. Okay. No, about the question, like if a client wants to switch careers and they ask if they can have one-on-one coaching sessions with counselor to figure it out.
Yeah, definitely. SOPA will be the pre-arrival WorldSkills after arrival in Ottawa. For other cities, we can discuss and make a plan.
Awesome. Thank you very much. All right. So how difficult is it for a bilingual permanent resident to work for governmental institutions? Are there any obstacles, or should you wait until you access those opportunities?
Yeah, so definitely good that you're bilingual. That's going to increase your chances in government for sure here in Canada. As a PR, you don't come across that many obstacles really. I think the biggest one is just depending on how high you can go based on the security clearance again. So that's that recurring issue or challenge sometimes. So you don't have to wait until you're a citizen, but you know, for some security clearance, like I think the highest security clearance, you have to have been in Canada for a while, you have to be a citizen, all of that. But honestly, don't wait for that. Like definitely find your opportunities now. You can get started for sure.
Totally.
Yeah, and if I can add that, you know, there's a ton of government jobs or jobs in government or public sector institutions that don't require bilingual, you know, needs. There's a lot of jobs which being bilingual probably helps you increase, you know, get access to the number of jobs, but by no means is that a restriction in itself. So, yeah.
Perfect. And yeah, and I just wanted to add, I will share the official job board with the federal government where you could locate opportunities. And just like my colleagues mentioned, like you don't have to wait, and there are openings for permanent residents and citizens, or sometimes just citizens. So just pay attention to what's mentioned in the job posting and the security clearance needed, and then you could apply. But there are many roles that are open to permanent residents as well. All right. And okay, I see that we reached the end of our questions, and I'm wondering if there are any last questions that clients would like to ask via audio, and I'll stop sharing my screen meanwhile. All right, it's going once, going twice. This has been very insightful. Thank you very much to the Invest Ottawa
There is
team.
a last question there in the chat box.
Okay, in the chat box.
From Mohammed.
All right, so, oh yes, okay, I see it. I have West credential, my mechanical engineering degree. Is this enough to find a job in the government or private sector, or I must upgrade to the course by course evaluation to find a job?
This is, sorry, Kim, I was just going to say this. That's a very broad question. So it's it really depends on, you know, the kind of job you're applying for, what skill you bring to the table. If you already have a, you know, mechanical engineer on the West credential, that certainly helps. It certainly helps the fact that you have a graduate degree. But having said that, the job itself is more dependent upon the skills, the experience, and what you add to the value than the credential itself. While having the credential qualifies you for certain jobs, I think, is it enough to find a job? For sure, it is enough, but then does it guarantee a job? Obviously, as we know, it doesn't guarantee one. It really depends upon the skills you bring to the table. I hope that's helpful.
Sure. Yeah, and one thing that I would like to add is, again, pay attention to, in case you need a certain credential evaluation by an employer or the government, pay attention to what kind of credential that they need. As these are some things like for the federal government, I noticed that always they would require the credential evaluation when, like, before the interviewing stage, so like after the screening. So that way, sometimes you don't invest like a couple hundreds of dollars in some evaluation that you may not need that later on. So pay attention to that component as well. And also, yeah, Kim, just to circle back on the point you mentioned, you were going to share some contact information in the chat, just in case clients may have questions or would like to connect. Probably you've already done that. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to this a lot. All right, perfect. Yeah, all right. Any last questions? We're already 10 minutes. I'm afraid it has been a very fruitful discussion. I would really like to thank Jen, Brianna, and Kim for taking the time being with us today, and also thank our amazing clients for joining. Some of you are midnight where you are right now. So thank you very much. And I can see that Kim posted the email in the chat. So yeah, if you have any follow-up questions, please go ahead and reach out. And also you can connect with your pre-arrival employment counselor before landing. And if you have landed, we'll be happy to refer you to post-arrival services as well. Thank you very much, everybody, for being with us today. And I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Bye.